Hello everyone, and welcome to my fall October garden tour. Because the weather is changing so fast now, so is my garden. But because I live in California, Zone 9B, there are a lot of things that are still blooming. Right here I have some seeds that I'm starting. I know, call me crazy. But let me show you what I'm talking about, and this is just so crazy. My little antenna. I actually have a Mexican sunflower that came back from the seeds this year. I didn't want to pull it out of the ground because I'm thinking, well, what if it blooms? And oh my goodness, look how tall that is. That is actually going to bloom. So I guess you could say it's like the grandbaby of my Mexican sunflowers this year. If you notice these springs on the ground, that's going to be a new garden art project I have yet to reveal. My bougainvillea is doing really nice, but check this out. My passion flower vine is just taking off. It's so crazy because it's doing better now in the fall than it did in the spring or the summer. See, there's flowers everywhere. And I'm expecting to get a lot of fruit from this. Passion flower fruit is so amazing. Now if I climb up tall enough, I can show you all the flowers up on top of here. Hopefully each flower will get pollinated, so I'll have lots of delicious fruit. Look at all the passion flower buds. So many of them. Yay, I just discovered a fruit. I'm so excited. It's making more fruit again. How fun. It's really fun to stand underneath this canopy. My hope is that the passion flower vine will grow so vigorous that it'll grow up these iron trellises on the side of this building as well. It already made its way to the second cattle panel arbor, so I'm hoping that gets covered as well. And in this vegetable box, I have some pineapple sage. Now, if you pick these off, you can actually eat them or put them in your salads. And another great thing about pineapple sage is it smells like pineapple. All the parts are edible and not poisonous. It kind of reminds me of a salvia plant. I would imagine it's probably in the same family. My little geranium is kind of done flowering, but over in this side, my beautiful Gara plant. I think this was one of my favorite things I've planted this year. As you can tell, it's kind of done flowering and the blooms are getting old, but it sure did put on a beautiful show. And my pugster butterfly bush, I pruned it all the way back, and gotta love California, I'm getting a whole bunch of new little blooms. And I see those imperial butterflies on it, so I'm not going to prune this back until spring next year. And so what I've noticed on my Miss Figgy fig tree, I've noticed that the birds have discovered it, because every time I had a ripe fig, it was gone. But oh well, that's okay, because as you all know, I do a lot of gardening for my pets and creatures and pollinators as well, and that includes birds. Here's something really fun I want to show you. This company, Veggies, reached out to me and sent me 2 vegetable boxes. I'm actually in the process of filming a video, but here's one of them, and as you can see, I have a lot of broccoli planted in there. And in between is some oregano, because broccoli loves the cooler fall weather. I know that it's going to do good. And over here, I have an old wash basin with some trailing flowers in there, a fountain grass, and a coleus. The coleus loves this spot. Isn't that just beautiful? Such a pretty combination. Whenever you make a container, there's like a little rule. It's called, there's 3 things. You have a spiller, a filler, and a thriller. And that's the combination for a perfect pot. Thriller, filler, and spiller. How fun, huh? You can't go wrong with those 3 elevations. My chrysanthemum bloomed really pretty this year. You're seeing it now when it's kind of on its way out, but it sure was pretty. And a euphorbia behind that old-fashioned lawnmower. I also made a video where I divided heucheras, and look at, they're doing so good. I see all kinds of new growth on all the heucheras. So I know by springtime, it's gonna look really pretty back here. And also I threw a ton of broccoli seeds down. So now I have a little broccoli patch. And inside that little bird feeder, I have a silver falls. I also made a video where I divided all my succulent plants. I do that every year. So my little succulent garden is coming back now after it just went through a major division. You have to divide succulents, otherwise they get absolutely huge and they start to crowd one another. So all those plants on the bottom, I got all those by dividing all these plants on top. It's really fun. Succulents are so easy to grow. That's a guacamole hosta. Over on this side, I have some wave petunias that are loving this cooler weather. And all those chrysanthemums in these pots, I got those at a discount price at the place where I work. When the floral department can no longer sell flowers, they sell them to me for like 50 cents or $1. So this is my little Petunia Garden. Oh, and isn't that so beautiful, the creeping Jenny? Look how beautiful that is. Sometimes you have to get up close to really see things. But these wave petunias, okay, let me tell you something. I did not plant that. That just came back from seed from last year's plants. Don't you love when that happens? I saved so much money in the garden this year. That's an old Model A wheel. Some more petunias that just came back from seed. And my zinnias all just came back from seed. And another Mexican sunflower. Do you think it's gonna bloom? We'll see. I mean, we are in the middle of October, but this is California. And my birds come here every day to take a nice drink of water. More chrysanthemums that I planted from my work that I got on discount. And look at this, is so crazy. Strawberries. I stopped letting the chickens out and I noticed that I get more things to enjoy. Looks like my bee balm is on its way out, but that's okay because I love harvesting seeds. So instead of deadheading this, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it be and produce lots of seeds for me. My vinca's still trying to hold on. I don't know how much longer it's gonna take before it just says, okay, I'm done, because the weather is starting to get a little chilly now. And if you notice this little dog, her name is Abby. Abby, what are you doing? Is such a funny looking dog. But I took her off my son's hands because he had too many dogs, and he said, "Mom, will you please take Abby? She won't ruin your garden because she's super tiny." So I took her. That's my new companion, little Abby. I have no idea what she is, some kind of wiener mutt, but she's super affectionate. Okay, in this vintage bathtub we have some marigolds, and this is also going to seed, but I will definitely come out here and pop them off and toss them in my garden. So Veggies sent me another vegetable box, and right now I'm filling it with leaves and compost, and I'll probably just continue to let that decompose over the winter, and then in spring I'll plant some vegetables. Hello, little hummingbird. This little corner, I never really finished that. I got so busy with my new job, but this is going to be my future little cottage garden. I might put some white rocks in there and then some flowers in there, but it's a start. My plumbago did so well for me this year. That's planted, or I should say that's growing in 2 stacked tires. Oh, look at how funny. Abby is meeting the girls for the first time. They're not quite sure of her. Okay, back to the plumbago. It's in 2 stacked tires, so it's elevated nice and high. And I have some zinnias. I grew those from seeds as well. I really didn't spend hardly any money this year on plants. Honestly, money was tight this year, so I really depended on seeds. And it was really a lot of fun and very rewarding. And I know sometimes with fall there's not much to do in the garden, and people start to feel a little almost sad that the season is over. But there are so many things we can still do in fall, like harvest seeds. This is the best time. Look at all these okra pods. I'm going to have a ton of okra seeds when I open those up and harvest them. And my tomato is just off the hook. I can't eat these fast enough. Seems like in October they put on their last hurrah and produce so many. So my little narrow space vegetable garden is coming to an end. But like I said, I have tons of seeds to harvest. Okay, let's go back out here. So I would say for me, the best thing I grew this year was definitely vinca. It performed so well for me and added so much color to my garden. So I'm definitely going to be a little sad to see it go. But like I said, I harvested a ton of seeds. See all these pods? I'll have vinca for next year. So while it's a little sad to say goodbye to our summer gardens, there's hope in all of these seeds for next year. And besides the vinca, I would say the next best thing I grew was my creeping Jenny, and I forget what this is called. Oh, vinca major or minor. It trails. I think that was my favorite thing this year. Just looked like a green waterfall. So vinca was my #1 plant, and I want to show you how cool this iron bench garden is right in front of my house. Do you see that vine? I didn't plant that. That grew from a purple hyacinth bean vine seed from last year. And let me tell you how I aged my terracotta pots. All I did was I got mud and I smeared it on the pots and I let it dry overnight. Then the next day I rinsed it out. Inside here we have a little sedum. I forget the name, Angelina, perhaps, some succulents, and of course more vinca. Like I said, that was the best performer for me all year. We have some lime green heucheras, and underneath the bench are some impatiens. And that purple hyacinth bean vine. That cracks me up. I have no idea how that even got there. Maybe a bird pooped it out. So I just wanted to show you that. And in case you haven't seen it before, this is my little patio. I call it my little happy place. It's my special little area where I have my morning tea, I plant seeds, and because my house is so small, I don't have a potting bench. So this is where I do a lot of my potting, and I basically just get my hands dirty. I love to collect colored bottles. I find them at thrift stores and garage sales, and I like to paint things, saws and shovels. Anything I see trashed out on the side of the road, I always say, I could paint that. I got these cute little butterfly decor at the thrift store for, I think it was like $1.50 each. And inside this vintage sink, I have a maidenhair fern. And believe it or not, but this will not die, even in the winter time. It's so soft, I love to pet it. I guess because it's sheltered and protected from the weather, it just stays green all year long. And I have some more bottles back here. Free weeds, dig in. Love grows here. And another love grows here shovel. I actually forgot I painted the first one when I painted this one, and I cracked up when I hung this up. Oh well, you can never have too much love, right? And this is what I always say, don't worry, be happy. Cute little colored rocks my girlfriend's kids painted for me one year. The watermelon is my favorite, although the shark is pretty cool. And look what Grizz just put over the side of the fence. I guess this belonged to one of his car projects, and he said, hey Liz, do you think you could use that in your garden? Because I'm going to throw it away. And I'm like, yeah, you know me, I'm going to be spray painting all of these and make them into flower petals. I can just see that hanging on my fence somewhere. So I have another project to look forward to. So even though it's October and my garden is slowing down and coming to an end, I still have lots of fun things that I'm going to share with you. And of course, you'll be seeing more of Abby in the near future. My silly, funny looking little black wiener dog. Isn't that right, Abby? Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful fall day in your garden too.